children, good morning to all. Welcome back to our economic online class. In the previous classes, we have discussed various problems of Indian economy. What are they? They are poverty, rural development, human capital formation and sustainable development. We also need to understand the concept of employment and the need for creating more employment in our country. Unemployment is a serious problem that facing India today. So today we will start 7th chapter in Indian economy textbook, that is employment, growth, informalization and other issues. People do a variety of works. Some works on farms, in factories, banks, shops, any other workplace. Earlier, factory works meant working factories located in cities. But with the introduction of new technology, now people could produce those factory-based goods at homes in village. Why do people work, or what are the benefits of employment? Employment brings earning for living. Then work gives us a sense of self-worth and enable us to relate ourselves meaningfully with others. Then employment helps the people to contribute to the national income and development of a country. So these are the importance of work. Then why we are studying about working people? What are the importance of studying about working people? So it gives us insight into the quality and nature of employment in our country, and it helps in understanding and planning our human capital. Then it helps us to analyze the contribution made by different sectors towards national income. So it also, that is the studying about working person also help us to address many social issues such as exploitation, child labor, etc. So this is the importance of studying about working people. Thus, there is need to know who is a worker and what is employment. So let us first start with meaning of worker. Who is a worker? A person is classed as a worker if he has contract or agreement to do work and he gets reward or other benefits from doing a work. Then also he works for himself or is self-employed. He is called a worker. Apart from this, workers also include all those who help the main worker in economic activities. What do you mean by economic activities? Activities which contribute to national product are called economic activities. So the person who helps the main worker in economic activities also considered as worker. Then even if a person is temporarily disabled or ill, even in that condition he is contributing something to the economy. And also women who are engaged in household work not counted in the real workforce, but some economists argued that this woman should also be called workers. So it can be concluded that all those who are engaged in productive or economic activities in whatever capacity, it is high or low, are called as worker. Next we moving on to participation of people in employment. So worker population ratio is an indicator for analyzing the employment situation in the country. So what is work population ratio? It is measured as the ratio between workforce and total population of a country. So it can be calculated by total workforce, that is number of employed person divided by total population into 100. If the ratio is higher, it means that the participation of people in productive activities is greater, and if the ratio is low, it means that higher proportion of population is not involved directly in economic activities. Look at the table. This table shows the different levels of participation of people in economic activities during 2011-12. So this reveals that the rate of participation for the urban area, that is for urban area, is 35.5. The rate of participation for the rural area is about 39.9%. So the total work population ratio is 38.6. That means for every 100%, about 38.6% are workers in India. And also this table shows in urban area rate of participation is about 54.6% for men and 14.7% for women. Then in rural area 54.3% for men and 24.8% for women. So the above table reveals that the overall rate of participation in the country is not very high. Then participation rate in rural area is higher than in urban area. Why there is such difference? Because most of the rural people are illiterate, so their employment opportunity are very less. So they will go for whatever works. People cannot stay at home as their economic condition may not allow them to do so. But in urban, people have a variety of employment opportunity. So most of them prefer white collar jobs. So they look for the appropriate job to suit their qualification. This table also shows participation rate for women is higher in rural areas compared with urban area. So in general, women participation rate is very low because in India, family discourage female member from taking up to jobs. Then household works are not regarded as productive work. So this is the participation rate of people in productive activities in India. Next is the type of employment. When we talk about types of employment, employment is broadly classified under two heads, that are self-employed and hired workers. So self-employed and hired worker are the two types of employment. Here hired worker can be further divided into casual workers and regular salaried workers. So employment is divided into hired workers and self-employed. The hired worker is further divided into casual workers and regular salaried workers. Self-employed, that means worker who own and operate an enterprises to earn their livelihood as known as self-employed. For example, a farmer working on his own farm. It is an example for self-employed. Then hired worker means those people who are hired by others and are paid wages or salary as a reward for their services. Then the two types of hired workers are casual workers and regular salaried workers. Casual workers, that means those people who are not hired by their employer on a regular basis and do not get social security benefits. Example, construction workers. Then regular salaried workers, when someone engaged by someone or an enterprises and paid his wages on regular basis is known as regular salaried workers. Example, teachers, chartered accountant, etc. So these are the different types of employment. Now we can discuss the data related to self-employed and hired workers in India. Here you can see two sets of pie diagrams, pie charts. The first set of pie diagram shows the distribution of employment by region. That means rural and urban work participation in self-employed and hired workforce. Here, white colored portion shows the percentage of people workforce in casual wage laborers. Then the black colored portion shows the percentage of self-employed, and also this grey colored portion shows the percentage of regular salaried employees for both pie diagrams. Okay. So for urban areas, there are 50% of casual laborers, then 43% of self-employed persons, and 42% of regular salaried employees. Then in rural area, 56% are engaged in self-employment works, then 9% in regular salaried employees, then 35% in casual wage laborers. So the first chart shows the self-employed and casual wage laborers are found more in rural areas than in urban area, because in urban area the people are skilled and work for job in offices and factories. But in rural area, people work on their own farms. So the self-employed persons are more in rural area than urban area. The second set of pie diagrams shows the distribution of employment by gender. Here, white colored portion shows the percentage of casual workers. Then this grey colored shows the self-employed, percentage of self-employed. Then the black color shows regular salaried employees for these both pie diagrams. Here, about male workers, 29% are casual workers, then 20% are regular salaried workers, and 51% are self-employed. Then for female workers, 31% are in casual wage laborers, then the 30% are regular salaried employees, then the 56% are self-employed. So the distribution of employment by gender, this chart shows that self-employment and hired employment are equally important for male workers, but female workers give preference to self-employment than to hired employment. It is because women both in rural and urban areas are less mobile and thus prefer to engage themselves in self-employment. So it can be concluded that self-employment is a very important source of livelihood for people in India. The size of workforce in India, India has a workforce of nearly 40 crore of people. Okay students, that was today's section. Today we have discussed about employment. What do you mean by employment? What do you mean by a worker? And the workforce participation in our country, and also the different types of employment, that is self-employed and hired employment. Okay children, so you have to watch the URL, attend the test paper, download your notes and study it well, and also you have to read your textbook very well. Okay children, see you in the next class. Bye.